David was born in Bethlehem, the son of Jesse, from the tribe of Judah. David was a shepherd boy, courageous and brave, who loved the Lord and trusted deeply in God. He was the youngest among 8 brothers. In his youth, he tended his father's sheep and played the harp. While still very young, David defeated bears, lions, and even the giant Goliath in the name of the Lord. But despite this magnificent victory, David's challenges only increased. With his military success, the hatred and envy of Saul also grew against him. Not even the sweet melodies played on his harp were enough to calm the furious king. On one occasion, Saul hurled a spear at David while he was playing to soothe him. From commander of the army, David became Saul's #1 fugitive. Even so, David was being confirmed as the next king of Israel. He enjoyed the support and loyalty of many, including Jonathan, his best friend, and Michal, his wife, both children of King Saul. However, Saul's hatred only increased because he knew that God would take the throne from him and give it to David. The prophet Samuel, under God's command, anointed David as the future king of Israel. Even while Saul still reigned, 1 Samuel 16, David was destined for great things, and this began to attract the attention of everyone, including King Saul, who hired him as his personal musician. After King Saul's death, Saul's army commander, Abner, made Ishbosheth, Saul's son, king over Israel. But representatives from all the tribes of Israel went to Hebron to recognize David there. They made a covenant with him and anointed him king of Israel. During this period of division and rivalry, David reigned over Judah while Ishbosheth ruled the other tribes. David was crowned king of Judah in Hebron, where he reigned for 7.5 years before ruling over the entire kingdom, and later king of all Israel in Jerusalem. David was 30 years old when he began to reign. He conquered the fortress of Zion, Jerusalem, and made it the capital of the kingdom. David brought the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, making the city the spiritual center of Israel. However, as expected, battles also continued in his life. Struggles with personal enemies and enemies of the nation. But the worst of all, David had to fight within himself. Like every human being, David was also subject to failure. Unfortunately, he gave in to the temptation of abusing power and indulgence. King David committed adultery with Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, and to cover up his sin, he conspired for Uriah to be killed in battle. God, through the prophet Nathan, rebuked David, who acknowledged his sin but suffered the consequences, including the death of the child Bathsheba bore him. The adultery with Bathsheba, and later the attempt to cover up the pregnancy, culminating in Uriah's murder, were David's worst defeats. Yet he repented deeply, turning back to God. David faced other battles with his own children, but in everything God was with him. Bathsheba helped ensure that Solomon, and not another of David's sons, would be the successor to the throne of Israel. At the end of his life, David prepared his son Solomon to be his successor. He also made all the preparations for the construction of the temple of the Lord. David died after reigning over Israel for 40 years. David remains an example of God's grace, who, despite human weakness, is always ready to forgive those who repent.